Hey, what's going on, Justice Leaguers? It's your boy PK Ripper, heavy hitter right here, giving you the Justice League standing matchups, recaps for week 2, week 3. We're gonna go into it right now with week 2's recap, and we're gonna start with let's go with our matchup of the week. The East Coast Boats and Hoes, who defeated Chris Carter's Fall Guys 161 to 132. Great matchup, as billed, both go in undefeated, only one can come out undefeated, so the Boats and Hoes come out 2-0 in that matchup. Next matchup, we got Scum Rise Heavy Hitters versus the League Killer 81. Clyde Lewis, boy, I'll tell you what, you put her ass beating on me this week with a 193 to 160 victory. I give it to you, bro. You got me this week, you know what I'm saying? But, I still got this. I'm still the hog, baby. Still takes a whole season. 1 week ain't gonna do you, brother. But enjoy your humble pie. Okay, in the next matchup, we got Team Jazzy Bell versus Finn's Gonna Lay You Out, in pretty much a matchup where Team Jazzy Bell pretty much got laid out, and there's no way to sugarcoat it. The injuries, everything that happened, it's hard to bounce back from. So, Fins, Leo, you did a good job. You got the victory, your first victory. Congratulations on a 215 to 136 matchup here. Next matchup, we got the self-proclaimed King of the North now, the Steel Curtain versus the Dirty Birds, in which the Steel Curtain had beat the Dirty Birds 183 to 147. Steel Curtain looking solid coming out of that matchup at 2-0, another battle of the unbeatens. And Jared, to come out 1-1, bro, you got to bounce back, okay? Next, we got It's Peyton on Sunday morning. Put some respect on your fucking name. You change your name every season is cool. You change it every week, it starts to get lame, bro. But there's a reason why Peyton is home on Sunday morning. It's because the Downtown Legends took your ass out 174 to 163 in this week's matchup. I don't know, bro. You know what I'm saying? Playing fantasy ain't so good for you, but it's okay. Next matchup we got the Big City Brawlers versus the 49er Riders. The 49er Riders come in here with an undefeated record as well as the Big City Brawlers, but 49er Riders rode into Big City and set it on fire, leaving everybody injured in its path. Big City got some injury woes. We all do, bro. We're all feeling the pain. So, you'll bounce back, right? Keep your head up. And that's it for this week's matchups. Look forward to talking next week's matchups coming right up. Okay, welcome back, Justice Leaguers. We're here to give you this week's matchup of the week. This week's matchup of the week is going to pit two 500 teams, actually, both with a 1-1 record. Both tied for second in the Northern Division. One looking to pull ahead to be behind the Steel Curtain or even ahead. Depends on where it ends up. We got the Dirty Birds going against the Finn's Gonna Lay You Out. We got the Dirty Birds coming in with Eli Manning projected at 25.4 and Blake Bortles for the Finns projected at 27.1. Advantage seems to go to the Bortles on the matchup. LaShawn McCoy is the starting running back here for the Finns, as well as Mark Ingram for the Dirty Birds. Tough matchup right there. Half a point difference. It could be a wish-wash. Then when you really get to the meat and potatoes of it, it's Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, and Jeremy Maclin versus Julio Jones, Jordy Nelson, and Kelvin Benjamin. This is like a receiver's wet dream right here. This matchup is filled with a bunch of high-scoring guys who have possibilities with terrific matchups. It could be anybody's game, is my guess. And good luck to whoever wins this one, because this is going to be a slugfest. Okay, we're going to dive into this week's matchup with the 1-1 Big City Brawlers versus the 1-1 Downtown Legends. Both teams, Big's coming off of the loss last week. Downtown Legends coming off, holding their head high over their victory. The projected total on this matchup is 162.7 to 162.9 as of now. It's close. I mean, both teams have good lineups. We got the Brawlers with Luck and Latavius Murray, Kristen Michael, Antonio Brown, Demarius Thomas, Clive Walford, Devontae Parker in the flex. And then you got on the other side with the Downtown Legends, Aaron Rodgers, Todd Gurley, Eddie Lacy, Randall Cobb, Larry Fitzgerald, Delaney Walker, Vincent Jackson in the flex, as well as the Broncos defense on one side and the Cardinals defense on the other. Two great defenses. This has got the makings of a great matchup as well. Very well could have been the matchup of the week, but, I just decided on the other one. I thought it was a little bit better. But this one's close and too close to call, Either the big cities are going to brawl their way out, or the downtowns are going to show how legendary they are. Okay, in our next matchup, Justice Leaguers, we got the Steel Curtain versus the Scumrise Heavy Hitters. Another projected tight matchup, a 165.9 to 164.2. It could be anybody's match here. This is a great matchup. The Steel Curtain obviously riding high off their victory, and the Heavy Hitters looking for their first victory of the season. We got some good matchups here with Matt Stafford, Lamar Miller, C.J. Anderson, Mike Evans, Alshon Jeffrey, Antonio Gates, and Willie Snead on the side for the Steel Curtain. And then as far as the hitters they got Drew Brees, D'Angelo Williams, Isaiah Crowell, Sammy Watkins, T.Y. Hilton, Kyle Rudolph, Giovanni Bernard. Anybody's game, really. Look for a lot of things. Look for any kind of exploit on the other team as far as matchups. These are two good players here, two good fantasy football players. Obviously, both the last two Boss Hog champions, including the back-to-back champion right here. I have to remind you every time, you know me. But look for this matchup to be one of the good ones, too. A lot of close matchups this week, and this is one of them. Okay, Justice Leaguers, we're going to dive into this next matchup, which pits Chris Carter's Fall Guys at It's Peyton on Sunday morning. And here's a preview for this matchup. But matchups projected to be in favor of It's Peyton, a 174 to 154 projected matchup total. Chris Carter has a lot of good players, too. Ben Roethlisberger, Carlos Hyde, T.J. Yeldon, DeAndre Hopkins, Dez Bryant, Jason Witten, Stephon Diggs, who's turning out to be a marvelous guy. On the other side, you got Cam Newton, Devonta Freeman, Rashad Jennings, Amari Cooper, Travis Benjamin, Jordan Reed, Emmanuel Sanders. Both teams have good defenses. The Panthers' defense versus the Seahawks' defense for Peyton. It's looking in favor of Peyton on Sunday morning, but I don't see it. Just as personally as I see it, I see a lot of good matchups with Dez over there against Chicago. I do see Travis Benjamin over there looking good against Indy too, so that could be kind of a wash deal. Stephon Diggs really can bring Chris Carter over the top. This guy is going to win some people some leagues this year. You watch. And that's all I got for this matchup. Okay, in our next matchup here, we got Battle of the East right here. We got 2-0 East Coast Boats and Hoes going against the 1-1 League Killer 81, fresh off his victory over the Scumrise Heavy Hitters. But I'll tell you what, the projected total here has the Boats and Hoes head and shoulders above League Killer with a projected total of 160 to 141. League Killer comes in with Carson Palmer, Jeremy Hill, LeGarrette Blount, Brandon Marshall, Doug Martin, Martilius Bennett, and Mike Wallace, who's been great this season. And then when you talk about the Boats and Hoes, they got a pretty great team. I mean, he's got a good team going on with Russell Wilson, Matt Forte, Tevin Coleman, A.J. Green, Allen Robinson, Jesse James, and Brendan Cooks. I see the Boats and Hoes having the advantage here right now as far as matchups-wise. The quarterback could be a wash thing. Look for Russell Wilson to maybe have a bounce-back week after a terrible week 2. Matt Forte, I'm biased, so I ain't even going to say nothing about Matt Forte. LeGarrette Blount should see plenty of work with the rookie quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, going in. And look for him to pound the rock a little bit, maybe get like 16 to 17 carries at least this game, It's a tough matchup to call. I'm going to go with Boats and Hoes on it because I just think they overall had the better team, and it's a tough matchup for Clyde. But Clive had a tough matchup last weekend and pulled it out, so it could be anybody's game all the same. They have to be played. Okay, Justice Leaguers, this brings us up to our final matchup, which is between the Western Division challenger and the Western Division head of the class right now, which is the 49er Riders at a 2-0 record ahead of the West versus Team Jazzy Bell with an 0-2 record, trying to fight her way to her first victory for the season. Projections look pretty close, 162 to 158 in favor of the 49er Riders, but don't count Jazzy Bell out yet because she's got a good team, went through some tough breaks with the Keenan Allen injury and such as we talked about, and now the Moncrief injury. So she's got to bounce back in a big way, and week 3 would be a good time to do it. But 49er Riders stand in their way, and they got a great team too. I mean, as long as they stay healthy. He made a great pickup this week with the Dennis Pitta. who's going to turn out to be pretty much a good fantasy viable option at tight end this season. You know, he comes in with Jameis Winston versus Joe Flacco for her. Joe Flacco coming off a lights out game, did an excellent job spreading the ball around. Let's go through the rest of the lineups for the 49er Riders: Ezekiel Elliott, DeMarco Murray, Eric Decker, Marvin Jones, Dennis Pitta we talked about, and Charles Sims. You know, as well as the Ravens defense coming into this game. And then we got Team Jazzy Bell here with Joe Flacco, David Johnson, Ryan Matthews, Jordan Matthews, the Matthews brothers over there, huh? Terrell Williams, Travis Kelce, Theo Riddick, who's turning out to be a PPR monster this year. Then she comes in with the Rams defense, who played excellent last week, really showed their moxie and showed why they're touted one of the better defenses in the league. And that's it for this week's matchups, Justice Leaguers. I hope you enjoyed the video. This PK Ripper, heavy hitter, going out. And I'm going to just say one time, be easy.